Hello. It's been a while since I made a YouTube video, and I have really been wanting to jump back in and get back to making these videos, but I honestly have been in quite a rut lately, and I haven't really known what to make a video about. So I thought that I would just kind of talk about what's been going on lately and why I think I've been in a rut and what I'm doing to get out of it. And hopefully that resonates with somebody else who's kind of going through something similar. But this will just be kind of a little life update and chat about what's been going on and how it's affected my creativity and my art. I'm actually in the process of working on this painting of a cow. It's obviously still in the ugly phase. I just barely got a little bit of underpainting done today, but I wanted to take a break from that to make a video before the sun went down. It's only 4 o'clock right now, but the sun's been going down pretty early lately. But I think that the rut that I've been in kind of started, honestly, like 5 or 6 months ago, back in May of 2024. I lost one of my two dogs to like a really sudden and aggressive lung cancer that just kind of like came out of nowhere and made him really sick really fast, and I kind of had to put everything on pause and focus on him. And if you don't know, I'm also a veterinary technician, and that's what I do for work mostly. And I took him into work one day, and he had been kind of like hard swallowing and like breathing kind of heavy, and we took some chest x-rays, and it was just cleared that he had like a big tumor in his chest. So we did a CT scan to see how involved it was, and it was actually like a really aggressive lung cancer that was not only in that part of his lungs but in like a bunch of other parts of his lungs also. So unfortunately, like chemo or radiation was not an option for him. So we decided to just take him home and see how he did, and kind of get as much time with him as we could. And he was only 8 years old, and I've had him since he was a puppy, not since I was a puppy. But we got about 2 weeks with him, and at the end of it, one of the doctors that I work with was kind enough to come to my house and help us say goodbye to him so he didn't have to do that in the hospital. And we said goodbye to him before it was to the point that he was going to have to be brought into the hospital in like an emergency. We didn't want him to get to that point. So thankfully, I was able to keep him super comfortable. He was still eating and he was still himself. He was just clearly like, it took a lot of work for him to like catch his breath, and he was breathing heavier. He was really tired all the time. He was like, he would follow me around the house and like fall asleep at my feet. And then I would get up and go somewhere else. He would follow me and he would fall asleep at my feet again. And that was unlike him. So he showed me in like subtle ways that it was time. Hopefully you guys didn't mind hearing that long story, but my point is that I think that the creative rut that I've been in, and like the, I guess, art block that I've been having in the last 6 months has been that was kind of like the start of it. And then I had a really hard time getting back into like painting after that, and I just kind of hit like a depression where I couldn't really seem to like bring myself to create, and like I didn't feel very creative. But something sparked my interest, and I got really interested in making jewelry. So I kind of gathered a bunch of supplies for silversmithing over the last like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 months, probably like 3 months. I've been doing that, and I've been making jewelry, and it's been really fun and like fulfilling for me to do that, and I've learned a lot. And honestly, the biggest bonus is I've been able to make jewelry for myself that I want to wear, and also like other people have wanted it. And all along, like on this little jewelry side quest, other people wanting to buy the jewelry has been sort of like a bonus for me. I just wanted to learn how to do it, and it's just been really cool that other people like what I've been making. But I think that getting into making jewelry has kind of like re-sparked my creativity. And honestly, this painting of this cow is the first thing I've painted in like a couple of months. I also have a big painting of a poppy flower, this painting of the poppy flower, that I've been like slowly adding little things to based on people's suggestions on Instagram and TikTok. But I wanted to just kind of start something fresh, and so I had this idea to do like a series of 3 paintings of farm animals in punk attire. So I think that that is going to be a lot of fun for me and kind of get me back into painting. It's also been tough lately to get into a good mental state because things at work have been kind of tough for me. We've just been having a lot of, I don't know, like upper management trouble that has been making it hard to just kind of get through the day to day. And I love what I do. I love being a veterinary technician, and it's really hard when something gets in the way of me being able to just do my job and take care of my patients. And that has been like a little bit of a struggle recently. And I'm still always happy to show up and help like save lives and take care of these animals that can't take care of themselves. I work in like the critical care ICU at emergency and specialty hospital. So I help take care of animals that have experienced some sort of trauma, like being hit by a car or something like that, or that have gotten a surgery and are recovering from that, or that have like a really bad illness that has flared up, or anything like that where that requires them to be in the hospital for like days and days and on all these different medications and fluids. And that's expensive. And honestly, one of the biggest barriers that we have right now is that it's like expensive for owners to afford, and like pet owners to afford, and that's hard for us. And it's hard because like we just want to help, and we, like the people providing the care, have no control over how much it costs. So there's just been a big like things have gotten really expensive, so people can't afford to like hospitalize their pet, but they need it. So it's kind of a bad like back and forth sometimes, and that has weighed on me quite a bit lately. I'm going to turn this light on because the sun's starting to go down. Okay. Hopefully the ring light thing doesn't bother you, but it's getting dark in here pretty quick. Just know, like, if you are someone with a pet that needs to be hospitalized because they're sick or need a surgery or something, like the people at the hospital that are working on your pet are only in it for your pet's best interest, and we wish that we could do it for free, honestly. So I think that has been another thing that's been kind of like weighing me down a little bit lately, and I have been doing some things to try to get myself out of that mindset. Like, I've been reading a lot of books. Ironically, I've been reading a lot of thriller, like horror books. Like, Riley Sager is an author that I've been reading a lot. I have also been reading Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, kind of alongside the horror and thriller books, which has been an interesting combo. But I think that for me, I've been like really trying to avoid spending too much time on social media. So in moments where I don't really feel creatively motivated, I would rather like go out in nature or read a book than sit on my phone and like scroll on social media. If you haven't seen it, I have a whole other video that's actually a little bit old now, but still seems to resonate with a lot of people on how I feel that social media affects creativity. So if you feel like watching that after this, then I will link it down below. I would love to also kind of hear how everyone else is being affected. I feel like there's just like a weird like universe energy right now that is happening where like people are feeling bogged down and stressed out and like burnt out. And it's interesting to know that like that is kind of a big like feeling overall right now. I do think that I was starting to get back on track a little bit recently, and then the election happened, and I don't want to make my channel about politics, but to be honest, like I was hoping for a different outcome, and my family is heavily affected by the outcome of this election in ways that have nothing to do with policy, but more like mental health and family members that put a lot of weight on the fact that they don't want this person to be the president of the United States. And I have to really like worry about those family members now. And regardless of all the other things that I don't agree with, like that for me is the biggest thing, is like the mental health of my family members who are being affected by this so heavily. So I now have like a pretty big worry about that, and that has been weighing on me a lot. So I have to kind of try to compartmentalize that and not make it overpower me and like take away from my daily happiness. Okay, I turned on a couple more lights. I thought I would have a little bit more daylight to do this. Anyway, what I'm trying to, I guess, convey is that I think that there has been just like a general struggle in the universe lately, and I feel like we are kind of all in this like collective place together. And I think that for me, like reading has been really helpful. I've been trying to get back into exercising regularly. I always kind of like struggle to find an exact like routine that I like to do or type of exercise that I like to do. I've been enjoying doing Pilates at home and also running on my, or not running, but using my stair stepper that I got. Those two things are working pretty well for me to kind of like give myself a little bit of a boost. Plus, I do like use weights here and there to try to do some strength training, but I think that exercising is a big thing for me, that I avoid it and then like I do it and I really remember how good it makes me feel, and I kind of like fall back into it and then I fall back out of it. And I know that I'm not the only person that does that. I don't know why we have to be so self-sabotaging when it comes to exercise, because it's so beneficial. I also have been just trying with work to like show up and take care of the animals that are there that need me to help them, and try not to worry about all of the other aspects of it, because at the end of the day, like there's a dog or a cat right in front of me that really needs me, and I'm lucky to be able to help them. And with art, I think that starting to read The Creative Act by Rick Rubin is helping me think about creativity a little bit differently and open my mind to the way that he thinks about it, or the way that he talks about it, which is different from what a lot of people say. Also, just doing it. Like I create like a barrier to entry for myself where like I can't start it until I do this or that. Especially with oil painting, for me, like I have to prep the panel, and I prefer like painting on wood panels, so I have to make sure I have a size that I want to use, and then I need to like mix my palette, and there's a lot of things that go into like preparing to do a painting for me, and I'm just trying to learn to push through those parts so that I can start painting. And I am happy that at least today I did that, and I started this painting of this cow, and I think it's going to be really cool when it's done. So I think for me, just starting when it comes to art, and also having other creative things that I can do if I don't feel like painting, like making jewelry or doing like block printing or just drawing. Like I literally have crayons and I just like drew with crayons yesterday because I was frustrated with my creative block that I've been having, and I was like, I just need to draw something, and I did. It was not anything profound or anything worth showing, but it was just I needed to physically like draw with my hands, and I just did it. That helped me kind of break through that barrier too. I also have been making patches, so I got some canvas fabric and I block printed some patches onto it, which I might sell or I might just use those for my own enjoyment. We'll see what I do with that. But yeah, I think that I'm just trying to branch out and like stay engaged in the things that make me happy. One thing that I really want to get better about, which I have access to, but it takes a little bit more effort, is going out in nature. When I lived in Washington, it seemed a little bit easier for some reason, even though I was still like in the city of Seattle. It seemed a little bit easier to get out into nature, but now that I'm in Los Angeles, it's like it seems a little bit harder to attain. Like I don't want to go to like a public park or anywhere where there's going to be a lot of people. If I want to go out in nature, I want to go to like the mountains or like a beach hike or something like that that's like a little bit more secluded. I really just need to start putting like some more effort into going out into nature and like connecting with it and taking my dog out into nature because she loves that. And yeah, I think that will help a lot. I also think bringing her around more dogs, like maybe going to the dog park every once in a while, would be helpful because without my other dog Binks being around, I worry about her being lonely. But I just wanted to kind of chat about like what has been going on because I always have this thought that I need to like have a specific idea or need to be giving you something out of a video, and I realized I just need to talk about what I'm going through because I know that I'm not alone. So if you guys just want to chat or have anything similar going on that you want to talk about, the comments are open and I would love to chat with you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.